Good morning or afternoon, everyone. Whether you are a face behind a screen, a face behind a mask behind a screen, or a screen behind a screen, welcome to a pre-recorded video in the smallest corner of the internet that is this classroom, despite the world behind me. So the reason why you guys are seeing this video is because I'm getting my COVID vaccine right now, and I took the afternoon off. So I'm going to walk you through what we're doing today, and I'm also going to help you understand the nature of today's assignment that will also bleed into the rest of the week because the assignment's going to be broken down into two parts. And it's going to cause us to look at the models of communication that we covered last week in the notes, but I want to make sure we really understand how it works before we move forward, because if we don't understand how the models of communication work, then it's going to be really, really hard for us to understand other things later on in the class. But with that being said, let's jump into it. So it is Wednesday. It is January the 20th. So let's take a moment to look at what we are doing. We have a warm-up today. We're going to review the action model and the interaction model, and we're going to start the evolution of communication models assignment, part 1. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but it is it's going to be a good one. So first and foremost, let's talk about the warm-up. Do you have a favorite one-on-one conversation in a movie/TV show? We look to media for entertainment, but we can also look for lessons. As we begin today's assignment, think about some of your favorite examples of interpersonal communication, otherwise known as one-on-one conversations. We'll have a whole unit on interpersonal communication, but for now, I just kind of really want to focus on things that you guys like, and maybe I can use it as an example in a later lesson. But I chose the conversation between Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker at the end of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I liked this scene. I remembered it, and I went back and watched it, and it's kind of lame, but I was also 14 when the movie came out. But at some point, make sure you guys interact with the warm-up, and if you want to put a link to the conversation, that's always welcomed as well. If you don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. Schoology even gives you the option to do so. But that being said, the other thing in today's agenda is the communication model evolution part 1. So obviously we know that communication changes as we process information. So the very first model that we used was the action model, and that was from the time of the telegraph. So you guys know the telegraph is like that stapler looking thing that people used to press to send one message, and it would go one way. Obviously communication has gotten a lot better and a lot faster than that. So what I really want to get into with this assignment, both today and tomorrow, is talk about how the models of communication have evolved and changed over time. So the first thing that you're going to do, let's go ahead and read the instructions. Analyze the message or messages in the provided clip and use the models of communication to explain the communication. The first one is done for you as an example. You can also use the notes to remind you. If you click on where it says notes, that will link you to the notes that you probably used to do well on yesterday's quiz. The clip is from The Avengers, like the first one in 2012. You can use this clip for all of your answers, although there are multiple characters. Just realized that there's a typo there. Focus on Iron Man and Captain America. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip. I don't know if it'll play it loud enough, but we'll see what happens. Go. Actually, I have it pulled up right here. Oh, you can do it. Come on, play for me.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy.
I know guys with none of that. But I've seen footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy that made the sacrifice play. To lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I would just cut the wire.
You may not be a threat, but you better stop pretending to be a
A
hero.
hero? Like you? You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out.
Suit. Let's go a few miles.
People are so petty. And tiny.
All right. So nice little stinger from Thor there at the end. But so now that we've looked at the clip, let's analyze that conversation between Iron Man and Captain America using the models of communication. So first we have the action model. Now you don't do anything with this one because it's a teacher example, so I've done it all for you, and I'm just going to kind of explain each of those parts, and then I'll explain what you're doing on your own. So the action model, as you know, was one of the first models of communication. It's the wooden pickaxe if you think back to last week's notes. and that has the source delivering a message through a channel to a receiver, and the noise can affect the channel. So remember that the channel is how you receive the message or how it's delivered. So in this case, since we're having a physical conversation, all of their communication will be verbal, and so the channel will be hearing, because remember that we take in communication through our 5 senses. So if we look at the model, let's go ahead and scroll down. There's a place for you to, there's some more instructions. Using the above model, analyze a message from the clip to the best of your abilities. The source is where the message comes from. Since I'm using a quote from Iron Man, he is the source. I could have picked Captain America to do my example, but I wanted to just choose a line, plus Iron Man is my favorite character in the movie series, so it's really, really good. So then we have the message, the communication that is delivered. Oh, I'm starting to want you to make me. So we've written the source and the message. But again, you could have picked, picked Captain America saying, put on the suit, let's go a few rounds. That could have counted as your message as well. That could have made Captain America the source and make Iron Man the receiver. But anyway, the channel is how the message is delivered, the 5 senses. Since the communication was spoken, the channel is speaking/voice. Then we have the receiver, who the message is intended for. The message was directed at Captain America, and the message was received. So since Captain America did respond to Iron Man, we know that the message was received, and we also made facial expressions, meaning that he did in fact receive the message. That's called unintentional feedback. But again, we'll have to save that for tomorrow's assignment. And then the last thing that we have to fill out is the noise, anything that tries to stop communication. There's definitely emotional noise in the room in the room of characters, not just through Captain America and Iron Man, but also through Black Widow and Hulk and Nick Fury, who are also all in the room. But the message was still decoded by the intended receiver, Captain America. Therefore, even though there was noise, the noise did not stop the communication from happening. So after you fill out this chart, the next thing that you'll do is you'll have one question. Now that you've analyzed communication using this model, what are the benefits to using this model to track communication, and what are the limitations of using this model? So what that means is you're basically going to talk about why the model is good to show communication and why it's bad. Easy enough. So let me go ahead and read my answer. The model is helpful if you are trying to analyze a singular message that does not need a response. The limitations all relate to the fact that communication has evolved past this model. Every time someone responds, we would have to make a new model, which is kind of why the action model doesn't work really well. And that's why we don't use it anymore, because we've moved past the telegraph. It doesn't account for feedback or context in the overall communication process, and it doesn't account for noise affecting anything other than the channel. So if we look right here, the noise can only affect the channel using the action model, but we do know that noise can affect all steps of communication now with the transactional model. But like I said, we'll focus more on that tomorrow. So that's what you're going to do with the interaction model. So it says right here, you'll do the second page on your own. Don't forget to use your notes. Then we have the interaction model right here. So, or the SRAM model, which we did an assignment for. If you haven't turned that in, please turn it in. And I changed up the instructions just a little bit. Using the above model, analyze communication from the clip to the best of your abilities. You may need to add more parts in the left column. So if there's other things that you might need to add to make sure that you really understand the back and forth between the two people communicating, then you might need to add extra rows. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll highlight, let's say you highlight 2 rows. If you right click, or if you're on a Chromebook, press down with 2 fingers, scroll down, it'll say insert 2 rows below, and then that'll let you add 2 rows, okay? But like I said, I think that we've set it up so that you might not need to add any, but there's a place for you to write source 1, because as we know in the interaction model, messages go back and forth. Each person takes part in encoding and decoding messages when we're using the interaction model. So there's a place for you to write source 1. So if Captain America is your source 1, Iron Man cannot be your source 1, because each of them, so you'll have source 1 and source 2. Then you'll have source 1 message. If you pick Captain America as your source, what is he going to say? Channel, how is his communication being received? Is he speaking it? And in this case, yes. But if you want to use maybe one of his facial expressions as a different message, that can also work. Then we have the receiver 1. So remember, if you pick Captain America as your source 1, that means Iron Man is your receiver 1. And then source 2 is Iron Man, and Captain America will be your receiver 2. Then there's a place for you to write source 2 message, source 2 channel, receiver 2. And there's also a place for you to write noise. And then again, same question. Now that you've analyzed communication using this model, what are the benefits for using this model to track communication, and what are the limitations? So basically, you need to talk about why using this model is better than using the action model, okay? So hopefully all of that makes sense and you're able to get this knocked out. It is due tomorrow, but we are going to look at part 2 of the assignment tomorrow as well. So if you get it finished early today, no harm, no foul. If you don't get it finished and you still don't understand after watching this video, just hang on the Zoom tomorrow in class and we can talk about it. Like I said, I'm getting my COVID vaccine around noon today, so I won't be available at least for that hour. But if you do email me at some point in the afternoon, I should probably be able to respond. It would seem as though people that get the vaccine, my wife got it over the weekend. She didn't have any symptoms. My dad got it over the weekend. He's feeling fine too. So I'm really excited because it's good. I feel like made it to the end, or at least starting to make it to the end. So that's enough of that. But to recap what we're doing, you are doing today's warm-up, and then you are also going to make sure that you look at the evolution of communication models using the Avengers clip to understand how the models of communication got better. Looking at the action model as an example, moving on to the interaction model, using your notes to help you if you need as well. There's no chat since this is a pre-recorded video, but if you understand, then I will take your yes, sir, metaphorically in, I don't know where I'm pointing, but either way, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you on Zoom tomorrow.